Welcome back to another video, guys, and today we're checking out the Procyon Practuron. I have no idea what it's called, but that's not why we're here. We are here to off-road stress test it here at the off-road section of Grid Mapping 2. So if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe, and don't miss anything else like this. But it's doing really good so far. It does have a diesel, and I don't like diesels off-road because they rely on the turbo. Also, the front suspension is really bouncy. Like, really? And also, this is the off-road model that they have. There's a bunch of complicated name for what it's actually called. Okay. So before we do this, I'm going to lock the transfer case and put into low range for more torque and for more control. Also, the interior on these things are beautiful. You guys should really check this out. This is an absolute amazing mod. In great level of detail, and I think it's actually one of the best mods that's released all year. So, great way to end off the year with a great mod. Okay, we are stuck. This does come with a front and rear locker, so I'm gonna just use the rear. I don't think I need the front. Yep. Oh. That was my fault. I did not realize I was getting that close to the wall. Okay, so let's climb this. Okay, climb it again. The independent front suspension is impacting something like this though. And I think it's impacting performance. I don't have many complaints about this vehicle, but if they could have a solid axle swap, you could do. That would be amazing. Maybe like some D-series suspension on this thing. I'm not sure. But this is an absolute amazing mod, so I don't have much complaints. Okay. Let me try and slow crawl this. Okay, we're getting slippage, and I think that's the problem. We're slipping the front. Come on, come on. Oh, we're gonna need to lock the front diff. I said lock the front diff, yeah. There we go. Now this thing will just master anything. I'm gonna leave the front locker on, actually. I want to see how this will perform in its most off-road setting. Okay, let's see how it performs with no diff locks on. So let me just pop those, take those off. We're definitely getting a lot of wheel spin. I think too much, actually. If this thing struggles, I'll put on the rear locker, because this thing will probably be able to do just about anything with the rear locker. Yep, rear locker time. Yep, there we go. Okay, we're still trying to take it at an angle. Okay, now it's gonna need a little bit of bar. Okay, now let me back up just a little bit to keep my front tires up. Okay. So we have the semi-easy way, and then the hard way. We'll do the hard way, to the left. Okay. Also, I'm not saying that the right side is easy, but the left side is harder, actually. So let's just continue on going. Check out the flex if I don't completely like stick my tire in the wedge. Okay, let's check out the flex in this thing is actually pretty good. In the rear axle, the front has 0 flex. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. If that was me, I would probably reduce some of the stiffness in the front axle. So let me actually see if I can do that, because I think that's the only thing holding it back. Because you saw it bounce around everything. Front suspension, yep, that's damper rate. Down the stiffness a lot. I bet they're probably doing this for greater axle height, but okay, there we go. Now we have a little bit more travel up front, mostly. Oh, it unlocked everything because I did a modification. So let me lock the transfer case and the rear diff. Now it has no issues. Oh, I didn't expect that to happen. Or that. Okay, let's get back on here and not go so fast. Okay. It almost slides on here. It's bouncing so much that it almost slides. Let's see if I can see. Yeah, it's doing it right now. It almost like shimmies off. Okay, let me keep some momentum, see what it can do. Yeah, it just something's not right, and it's a little bumpy. Let me put it to slow-mo so we can actually see the suspension work. It's really satisfying. I think bringing down the stiffness in the front suspension is definitely helping. The rear suspension is fine. Okay, we got bigger bumps here. Let's see how it does. It actually handles it great. It compresses, decompresses. It's really nice. Okay, now I gotta brake. Oh, and this thing has no ABS. Okay, let me actually simulate a situation here. Okay, so we have the small flex ramp. I'm going to actually accelerate to a pretty decent speed, and the suspension actually does great, I have to say. I don't know what it would do in stock form, but the suspension is not the best, but it's good enough. Okay, come on, brake. Yep. Okay, let me try and find. Oh, this will work. Let's see how it does. So the rear suspension is doing great. The front is just climbing everything with the, oh, there's some compression going on in the front, though. You're trying to keep everything slow. Yeah, it's just like it bounces back. It's very rough, though. And now we'll actually move on to our next test, which happens to be right next to that, is the flex test. So okay, so oh, I love the noise that it makes when you put on the parking brake, but there's a little bit of a floating shock tower, and I think that's probably the same on the other side. But talking about flex here, the front isn't flexing much, the rear is full droop, and then yeah, it's definitely full drooping. Okay, it's doing pretty good actually. For having nothing locked, I think it's doing pretty good. I'm not even going to touch anything because it's doing everything by itself. So the rear is definitely spinning, and then the front it's getting some traction because it is an LSD. So the rear is always spinning. So I'm actually curious to see what the front is doing. Like, okay, so the rear and the front and the rear grips. It's actually not terrible flex. It's a great flex in the rear. The front, I think, could use some improvement, even though it does flex out pretty nicely, actually. And let's just, I'm still not touching anything. It's doing good perfectly. Okay, so now that we know how the suspension travels and know how it performs in some situations, let's go on to the rock part of the terrains. The terrains are right over there. And let's go over to the rock place where we can basically simulate rock crawling. So I'm gonna go all the way left. Oh, we had a little bit of slippage. So I'm going to try and modulate a little bit. I'm gonna use the brakes to try and slow me down. I mean, the engine is definitely going to overpower the brakes. I mean, that was expected. But in terms of actual off-road performance, it's actually pretty good, actually. I have nothing locked. Everything's unlocked. There is the occasional wheel pickup every now and then, which I find a little disturbing, since these rocks aren't that big. But also, this could be made for like safari purposes, and crossing rivers and stuff. Okay. The transmission is actually feels really nice. So I'm actually gonna go over to the rock crawling, right here. I wish you could manually select second gear and just leave it in second gear. That would increase control a little bit, especially in low range. Okay, can we continue on? Yes, we can. Getting flexed out a little bit. It is able to conquer these rocks, though. I haven't found an issue with ground clearance. This thing has no issue whatsoever when it comes to ground clearance. I mean, it's probably on like 36s on like a 4-inch lift. So it's probably got a lot of ground clearance. So I haven't hit a rock on the underside yet. So that's really good considering performance. Okay, so now that it's going downhill, I don't have to touch the throttle. This thing has enough control in low range, manual first gear. Okay, no it doesn't. No it doesn't. I did get some wheel slippage up front though. I'm actually getting a lot of wheel slippage up front. Seems as if going down, it's having a tougher time slowing me down. So, this vehicle is not the best of off-roaders, I will say. The D series is a better independent front suspension off-roader. This though has a lot of rear flex and could use some improvement in the front. Otherwise, by that, it has great torque with the diesel engine, and it's a little hard to modulate due to the power, but the low range plus the lockers plus the huge tires that this thing has on, this thing is a really good off-roader. And I think if you're over in like in the Jungle Island over here over in Utah, I think it would struggle more in Utah. But if you're over in Jungle Island where it's very muddy, I think a truck like this would work. But in the rock crawling situation, I don't think so. So if you liked today's video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.